Welcome to LOTC Presents Black Glove Mysteries, where every other Friday we will take you on a journey through Italian cinema, specifically giallo, but we reserve the right to take other avenues such as polizieschi, spaghetti westerns, Euro crime films. Either way, you will hear and now see us talk Italian cinema. This is episode 444, double 70. I'm your host, GregaMortis. I can't even say my gosh darn name tonight, along with Ian Irza. What's up, Ian?
You thought you'd get away with it this time too, but you didn't think about me, little Lucy. Did you, mommy dearest? You know I love you, mommy. Everyone loves you because you're so pretty. You always were the prettiest.
I love it. Lucy. Everybody has to love little Lucy. And I'm not talking about I love Lucy either. One of the brattiest characters, but for good reason. And that's what we're doing tonight. We're looking at Lamberto Bava, Ian, and super excited. We're going to be looking at 1980s Macabre, however you want to say it. There's Ian's got that beautiful 88 films copy there. I've got the Blue Underground, as well as tonight we're doing Devilfish, aka Monster Shark, aka lots of other. Look at that movie. Oh boy, does that scream goodness? We'll let you know if it does or not. Stay tuned. But that is the two movies that we're covering tonight. We're super excited to be back. I hope you enjoy what you hear tonight. We've been getting some good feedback here recently, Ian. So I love hearing that. People liking the Italian cinema. So tonight we'll be looking at one. It's not necessarily a giallo, Ian, and one that's definitely not a giallo. But we're definitely in the world of Italian cinema, man. Italian greatness, might I add. And we're super excited. And I got the old J&B bottle over here ready. I got the phone ready in case somebody calls, Ian. You know, we may be getting a call from 1972. And, you know, who knows? Maybe Poopy Avati will be calling us later. Who knows what'll happen in here? Uh,
Yeah, who actually was maybe supposed to direct this movie.
right.
The Macabre. I had forgotten that he had written it, and like he was one of the people slated to direct, and I think he just didn't want to do it. He passed on it and let Lamberto Bava do it. Lamberto had been an associate director or an assistant director, I should say, on many of his father's films before this, including Inferno and many others. And I think this was just sort of his way of directing his first film. And it's one of those things where I don't think A Blade in the Dark was, I don't know if it was the second film, but this and A Blade in the Dark have some similarities because they're both very minimal location, probably a smaller budget. um I think A Blade in the Dark probably had an even smaller budget than this one did, because at least this has the New Orleans shooting in it, filming location in it,
Mhm.
which they use pretty well, I would say. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it is similar because of the fact that they both have minimal locations and everything like that.
Mhm. Yeah, it was really cool. And we're talking Macabre right now, Macabre. And the whole New Orleans thing going on was actually pretty fun. And it did like become a focal point in the movie. Like they wanted to make sure that you knew it was filmed in New Orleans, right? They were making sure you knew this with signs and stuff, which is kind of cool, man. But Lamberto Bava, man, April 4th or April 3rd, 1944, he was born, still living and loving it. He's the age of 81 and a really talented director, man. I think growing up around the business really certainly helped him for sure. Some of his films are not the best, but some are good that we'll be talking about some down the road as well. I'm sure this is not going to be the end of Lamberto Bava for us, but
No, it's one of those things where you forget how prolific he was in that period of time. Like from, 1980 to the early 90s, he just made a lot of films. I mean,
he
he
really
was
did.
he was around. That Brevito Giallo set that just came out, it has more
Yeah,
films from him as well. So it's in, and I think, because of that, his films are getting a little bit more love. A lot of his films have gotten more restorations over the years. I mean, I
hmm
think of how Vinegar Syndrome just did one for Delirium. I'm hoping You'll Die at Midnight or Midnight Killer eventually gets better treatment than it's gotten in the past, just because it really has never gotten a good release. I'm hoping that one eventually does as
yeah,
well. But a lot of his films are, more and more readily available and getting more of the sort of boutique Blu-ray treatments that you want these movies to get. So good for
sure.
him, and good for the people that want to see his films like us.
That's right. I mean, Body Puzzle. I definitely want Body Puzzle. Not the
That
Mhm.
Yeah, that did get a 88 Films Blu-ray, I think, a while back. I don't know if that one's still around, but that one might end up getting a better one at some point. Who knows?
I really hope so, man. I'd love to see maybe Severn pick that one up. Um, or Vinegar or somebody, pick that one up. That Bravado set, man, God, I almost pulled the trigger. They were having a sale, man, and all the Labor Day sale, and money was gone, dude. I had no ability to get it, and I was so bummed because it sold out, and then they released some new ones. So I'm hoping it'll still be around whenever we get a little extra money, man. I've got to get that set.
Yeah, and some of those like TV made for TV films, I mean, they are a little different than what you might expect. Like I've been watching some of the Houses of Doom ones, the two Fulci ones, but I thought they were both pretty good and both pretty unrestricted. I think they're probably just as good as some of the films Fulci made in the late 80s, honestly. And then I
Right.
want to get into the Bravito Giallo set. I still haven't watched Dario Argento's Door in the Darkness. Maybe we should just do that on the show for
We
me to
should.
watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should because I totally haven't seen that either. And I got to get to that Sweet House of Horrors. I do have that one from the House of Doom, and I'm gonna pick up the other one eventually of Fulci just to get the Fulci treatment there from Cauldron. So those are coming. Those will definitely, when I get a little extra money, will definitely be purchased and added to the set. But the Severn released that high tension set that I would like to have. Uh, what was like $75, which is not bad. I mean, for
Yeah, I
movie
might just I
81.
might just get that eventually and put it on a payment plan. That's Lamberto Bava as well, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So super excited, man. There's some really cool releases. If you love Italian cinema, you're in one of the best eras right now, man. Because I'm telling you, we are starting, Ian, to get some of these releases, and I'm loving it, dude. I am
Well,
absolutely loving
Vinegar Syndrome just recently announced like another Giallo set that they're doing. I think it was Vinegar Syndrome. But I know the Bloodstained Lawn is one of the three films that's in
it.
it, and that's a film I've wanted to see for a little while. I can't remember exactly what the set is called, but I do know it was like Vinegar Syndrome that was going to release it.
Yeah. Was it Vinegar or was it Severn?
I think it was Vinegar Syndrome.
Okay, maybe it was Vinegar. I know exactly which one you're talking about. I saw it, and I think it's on a pre-order, or maybe it's actually an order now. But yeah, yeah, that was that by Bloodstained Italy. It's got Obscene Desire, The Bloodstained Lawn, and Death Falls.
Yeah,
So
I think our girl Marina Malfatti is the star of Bloodstained Lawn, which is one of the only
yes,
movies that she was like the number one star of. Normally, she's kind of a background player. So
yeah, this
yeah,
is really cool. I mean, this is straight up on pre-order, listeners, and you got to remember these have those limited edition slip covers. So if you're a uh, one of those that has to have the slip cover case, keep in mind that these are limited. So we have pre-order on this, and Ian, it's on sale for $47.99 as we're recording. Three movie box set, dude. That's
oh,
really cool.
actually, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. So dang, man, I love it. My purchasing power went up too, by the way. That's to say it. But I love this, man. I love the era that we're in. But tonight we're going to be looking at two of Lamberto Bava's films once again, 1980s Macabre, Macabre, as well as 1984's, as we mentioned, Devil Fish, Monster Shark, whatever, Jaws ripoff, Piranha, Orca, whatever you want to call it. It's a number of things, but we'll be getting into those. And we we got one caller in tonight too. So we got to get to Luke later on. So we'll do that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get in. We're going to jump right into the macabre, and we'll let Ian, as we always like to do, I'll let Ian take over and give us a plot synopsis, and we'll break this puppy down.
I'm just gonna take this one from the back of the Blu-ray, which is a fairly good premise. It's a little different, but anyway, I'll get to it. Don't open the fridge! Exclamation point. Lamberto Bava was taught his trade by his father, horror legend Mario Bava. Macabre, his first film as director, showed how well he'd learned his lessons. Still recovering from a pair of tragic and traumatic bereavements, Jane Baker, played by Bernice Stigers, moves into a new apartment in New Orleans. The owner's son, Robert, is blind, but that doesn't stop him hearing what Jane gets up to. It sounds like she's resumed her passionate affair with her lover, Fred, except that Fred died over a year ago. Not quite a giallo, not quite a ghost story, and with a final twist that will make you rethink everything you've already seen. Macabre showed that Bava Jr., who go on to make the horror classic Demons, was a chip off the old block.
Bum bum bum. Love it. Great box synopsis. This is not a freaking IMDb synopsis at all. So Macabre, man, and I love the fact that they just mentioned the refrigerator ice box right off the bat because I think that's the elephant in the room is this ice box that is basically in the refrigerator. She opens the refrigerator. There's an ice box with a little padlock on it, and what we find out that's in there is pretty damn cool. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one spoiler I don't want to drop
Right.
for what it ends up being.
Yep.
I think there's one spoil. There's one thing that happens early in the movie that it's safe to talk about, something involving the drowning of a kid and how that happens.
Yeah.
Uh, but what I like about this movie is I thought there were certain things I thought about with the characters more and more because I watched it. It was my second time watching it, and then for the commentary was the third time. And there were subtle things I thought about, like why, like is Jane crazy because of, and let's just say Jane is a little,
She's
she
eccentric.
ends up being a little crazy. Let's just
Yeah.
say that. I won't say why and what she does, but is she crazy because of how Fred dies, or did she just love Fred that much? Like that was one of those things that I was thinking about. I think it's a combination of both, really. Um, but there were little things like that that I thought about throughout the film, and like even Lucy, like we see what she does to her brother at the beginning of the movie, but then it seems like she loves her mother. Like, yeah, she's willing to do what willing to do what she does to her kind of at the end of the movie. So there are interesting things going on. And even Robert I think is an interesting character. He's this blind guy who sort of takes over owning the apartment after his mother dies. His mother is alive at the beginning, but then after the first few minutes of the movie, it skips to 1 year later and his mother's died. So now he's sort of the proprietor of these apartments. But also he fixes instruments somehow. Like he
Yeah.
fixes these brass
Trumpet.
instruments, which
Yeah.
of course makes sense. This is New Orleans. There would be a lot of people who might need instruments to be fixed. So that at least made sense of the location. But Robert is also sort of a sensitive man. Like even though he's blind and Jane knows he's blind, there's this scene where she invites him up into her bathroom while she's taking a bath, and he's like not even looking at her. He's still turned away from her, which I find interesting. Like it's just interesting that I think all these characters, you get to know them very well.
Yeah.
And even though this movie is not necessarily the best paced movie, it doesn't necessarily have a ton of atmosphere either, but I still think it keeps you guessing what might happen next or when is something going to happen. That's the thing, is you're always kind of on edge because you're like waiting for the shoe to drop, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And I think the one thing that I did really enjoy in this was, yeah, and you're right about the pacing sometimes being a little off for sure.
It's not horribly
It's
paced, but
not, no.
it's not like really well paced either.
No, it's not like one of those edge of your seat, a lot of action, a lot of mystery per se. But I think what I really enjoyed a lot in here was the dynamic of Robert. I think Robert was kind of the key of this movie. Like you said, it's this whole apartment thing that the wife, for whatever reason, Jane is like, and this is a spoiler, but it's the first minute of the movie. She's basically having an affair with her husband, and the husband doesn't know, the kids don't know supposedly, but Lucy catches on pretty quick that something's not right. And she's basically going to this apartment that she's staying at. I guess she's got, I don't know if it was Fred's or hers. I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming it was Fred's maybe, but I'm not sure. But there's a separate apartment. And that whole situation, man, I'm kind of like, Robert's there with the mom. We got the scene with her bathing him at the beginning of the movie, and like she brings in Jane right while he's bathing. And I'm like, this is odd. Like, what are we? It's just weird. Uh, but then it goes on from there, and we see what happens to Fred. Fred, perishes in a very horrific way, like a very horrific way, which I thought was pretty damn cool. I'll be honest, like the effects of that was pretty awesome, even though it wasn't necessarily on screen. It's kind of there's a crash and then something happens, and then we see the aftermath a little bit, which I thought was okay. I was cool with that. But I think what really drove this movie too, Ian, was that musical score, man, and that was Ubaldo Cantanello. I really enjoyed the music in this one.
Yeah, I do too. There's like a lot of jazzy music goes with the
Yeah.
New Orleans location again, but there's like harmonica stuff in there as well. There's some raging strings. It's a very multi-dimensional score, and it is really good. This is like one of many Italian scores I'd own on vinyl if there was ever a
Oh yeah.
release of it.
Yeah, and they are screaming to let the viewer know they're in New Orleans, right? Because everything, and I think that is the reasoning behind him working on instruments is just to give it another nod that hey, we're in New Orleans. Wink, wink, nod, nod. So whatever. They're kind of spoon feeding it, and I think it got a little bit overbearing sometimes with how much they're trying to show you New Orleans. But the scenes that kept coming into my mind was when Jane kept doing these m- basically masturbating scenes. You don't see it, but you hear it because Robert's hearing this, right? I want to ask you, what was the deal? Did Robert have a microphone in her room, or was because he was downstairs, she was upstairs? Dude, it was like she was in the same room when she's having these orgasmic sounds, and it's almost like, did they have like a baby monitor? Like, did you notice anything? Like, why was it so loud when
I Yeah, I didn't even think of it really. It was not a question I ever asked. I just figured somehow he could hear it. Maybe because he's blind, his senses are
uh,
heightened somehow too. I don't know.
maybe?
I didn't really think about it that much.
Yeah, I totally did because it was so loud. I'm like, God dang, dude. Like, and he's downstairs and it sounds like she's in the same room. That's like awkward, dude. But you see throughout this movie, Robert ends up, he does like her, right? He does um kind of take to her. He wants to have dinner with her. He wants to, have communication with her. And you see her pushing him off and saying, some at one point, I don't have time right now. And different things. We see a shrine that she's made of Fred, which I thought was so freaking weird.
It
Like,
seems there are times though where it seems like she kind of likes him too. Like she's flirted back with him, but then it never goes anywhere for whatever reason with her. I don't know.
yeah,
It's kind of a complicated relationship in a way because you don't really know exactly what her feelings are towards him. So
exactly. But Locke doesn't really like. There's not a lot of murder or mystery or anything necessarily in this movie. But I wasn't completely out of it either, and I'll be honest. Like I was still intrigued in the story, still watching to see what happens. You hear the mention of Fred a lot, and you're like, well, where's Fred? I thought Fred died. There's certain things like that going on. I thought Lucy, Veronica Zinni, I really liked Lucy because at first you hate her. I mean, let's be honest, she murders her son. I mean, her brother, like, dude, straight up drowns him. And then it goes from there to where Nan, you're like, okay, she's like calling her mom, like, where you at, mom? Like being the pesty, bratty daughter that she is, but she's figuring it out pretty quickly and she's knowing something ain't right.
well, she knows about the affair at the beginning, and she also starts to figure things out later on with what's going on with their mother now in the apartment. So,
Yep.
and her and Robert have kind of this weird sort of on off relationship where she pretends to be kind of with him, but then she's not all of a sudden. Like for some reason, it seems like she wants her mother and father to get back together, which I don't understand how she wouldn't know how that's not exactly possible for that to happen.
Right.
Um, for multiple reasons. But because even when Robert shows her something at one point that he knows what it is, but she tries to say, "Oh, it isn't this thing because you can't see, and you're trying to ruin my relation, like my
Yeah.
mother and father getting back together because you want my mother because you're in love with her, that sort of thing." And I found them two together kind of interesting just because they know what's going on and they kind of work together, but then again they kind of don't. Like at the end of the movie, Robert is kind of kept in the dark about what she's doing. Like she even probably goes a step too far with what she's doing, and then Robert is like kept in the dark about it until it's too late. So
Right.
it's kind of an interesting dynamic. You do get one really good practical effect toward the end of the movie as well, with someone getting burned somehow. I won't say exactly what happens, but that's one thing you do get at the end
Sure.
as well.
Would you have liked to seen more, like maybe more characters brought in for purpose of death or whatever, or did you like the way it went? Like
No,
just
I'm kind of okay with the way it went. And one of the reasons I'm not the biggest fan of the way it ends, like I'm talking the very end here, it
mm,
has one of those, kind of silly horror movie endings from the 80s, like one of those, just shock endings. And I don't really like that for this movie, because the movie seems to be pretty realistic up until that point. Like
yeah,
it's pretty grounded up until that point. Like compare it to Pieces, which has a similar sort of shock ending, but Pieces is a ridiculous movie all the way through. So the shock ending in Pieces makes more sense than it does here.
sure, yeah, it does. Inspired by an actual event that happened in New Orleans, so we don't know how much of that uh transpires over into this movie, but just throwing that out there at you.
Yeah, in the commentary they were saying, Troy Howard said he was like, he tried to find any information he could about this being, based on something true, and he couldn't find like any information. He tried to find something and he couldn't do it. So
It's one of those alias, notorious. This was made after a certain event that happened in 1973 in Arkansas or something. Yeah, no. Hey, it's something to pull butts into seats, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Character wise, I like Jane. I like Berna Steggers. I thought she does serviceable for what she's doing. And Robert's character, played by Stanko Molnar, I really enjoyed. And I don't know if he is legally blind. I don't think he is. But if he is, bang up job. But I really enjoyed his character.
well, he was also in A Blade in the Dark, and he didn't play
Oh,
a
there we go.
blind character in
Well, there
that.
we go.
So he played the big red herring in that. He was like the groundskeeper for the villa in that movie.
That's right.
Yes.
There you go. Yes. Yes.
Veronica Zinni is the sister of Carl Zinni, who we saw in Delirium. In Delirium, he played the character in the wheelchair.
Nah.
Uh, so he had a pretty big part in Delirium, and they do look quite a bit alike. If you watch Delirium, you can certainly see the resemblance between the two of them. So that's interesting. Bernice Stegers went on to marry Mike Newell, famed British director of films like Four Weddings and a Funeral, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire,
Oh, wow.
uh, Donnie Brasco, Mona Lisa Smile, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. So
Mm,
the guy she's married to is actually a pretty good filmmaker and has made some significant films.
I love it. Once again, Ubaldo Cantanelio is the musical composer of this one. He's done some stuff from 19, looks like 1967, Lola Colt, all the way up until 1983, according to Wikipedia. I don't know of that, but just going off of what they're saying. Gangbusters from 1977. Here's Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. I got to pick that
Yeah,
one.
and that score does have some similarities to this in terms of the sound. I do remember thinking about that. It that has a good score and is a very good movie. I did want to note Franco Deli Colli did the
Yeah.
cinematography for this. Did the cinematography for films like Last Man on Earth, What Have They Done to Your Daughter, Strip Nude for Your Killer, Rat's Night of Terror, Ghost House, Zeter, Highway Racer, Night Child. So he's done a lot of stuff as well.
Heck yeah. And now this one was dubbed in English. I think most of the actors were English, I would assume. Uh, looking at it, but do you have anything of note that you got on anything else on this one before we start
For dubbing, Carolyn DeFonzica was the one who dubbed Bernice Stegers
Bernice?
as Jane. She's putting on a southern accent.
Which is
She notably dubbed Daria Nicolodi in both Deep Red and Phenomena for probably the most notable thing she's done,
nice. Um, I can't think of anything
as
else.
well as Florinda Balkan and Don't Torture a Duckling. Yeah,
Oh,
same voice.
freaking movie too. Golly. Oh, I still got to pick up Don't Torture a Duckling. I've got the Blu-ray from Arrow, but I've got to pick up that 4K, man, eventually. So many movies, man. Somebody needs to sponsor me. Somebody needs to sponsor me and buy movies for me on a regular basis. Just send me all the movies. You know what would be really cool is if like Severin, Vinegar Syndrome, 88 Films, Cauldron, if all four of them would just look at us, Ian, and say, I'm gonna give y'all every release that comes out. What?
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I'd be like, yes, I will rename my podcast after you guys. I love you. But no, man, I love supporting these bouquet labels, man, 100%, dude, and I will until I have $0. If I have a nickel, I will give it to them because of what they're doing. But what else you got on Macabre?
I mean, I'm trying to think of anything else that I have. There were some subtleties. It's funny. I watched the English dub, but there were some subtleties in the subtitles where I was like, oh, the subtitles are actually explaining the movie slightly better than
Right.
what the English dub is doing with little things. So I found that kind of interesting because the subtitles were obviously taken from the Italian audio track. So I found that kind of interesting. That's maybe the only other thing I have of note because I think I've talked about this as best I can. There's one shot I love where the camera tracks from outside of Jane's room and down the stairs and everything. I thought that was a very sort of McKelly Swabby type of shot there. Lamberto Bava had been the assistant director for a couple of Argento's films before this, and he did Demons, and then he was going to do The Church, but him and Argento kind of had a falling out of sorts for whatever reason. And
Yeah.
then Michele Soavi ended up doing that film. Michele Soavi, who was one of the considerations to play Robert in this movie,
Oh
which would have been
wow.
interesting. I don't think he would have been better because Michele Soavi's not a very good actor. I
All
just got to be honest. Michele Soavi is a way better filmmaker than he is an actor. I'm very glad that Giovanni Lombardo Radice took a couple of roles from him because you can
right.
tell that he's not really. Michele Soavi was only acting to become a director,
Yeah.
but I don't mind him as an actor, but
Yeah. No,
he's
totally
not
not.
one of the best.
Totally not. I love the fact that Pupi Avati and Antonio Avati, the Avatis, is attached to this one though.
Yeah,
I love, man, uh, the House with the Laughing Windows with Pupi Avati, man. If you've not seen that movie, man, definitely check that movie out. It's a bang.
that is the scariest giallo ever made, if you
Yep.
ask me.
It is
Yeah.
freaking banger, dude. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Well, let's see, musical score we got over, music, and let's see, Medusa distributed this, and yeah, 89 minutes long. It's
Yeah, it's called Frozen Terror when it came out in the United States in like 1983.
I don't mind Frozen Terror because it does kind of, it's not that far of a stretch, but I like Macabre, man. I like
Yeah,
Macabre. I do. I just, the cool poster art with the doll head with the little smash in the head with some blood's pretty cool too, but
maybe you could have called it necrophilia, but that might have given too much away. I don't know.
it's true. All right, well, let's pass around our ratings, man. What you got for Macabre?
8.
Nice. I am an 8 as well, and I look forward to watching this again. I've seen it before. You had mentioned I reviewed this many moons ago with Dr. Dirty, one of my original podcasts, or my original podcast partner, way back in the day. But Macabre, and I do not even remember anything I said on that, so I got to go back and watch whatever episode that was. So, Macabre, right there, man. This is the Blue Underground DVD release of this, and Ian has the 88 Films release of this. There is the awesome Blu-ray and all that stuff. So, warrants a 4K, Ian.
You know what? I could see this getting one for sure. I don't think I would buy it again, but for anyone who's never owned it, I think it could get. I mean, it's a very good looking movie, so
Yeah.
I would say yeah, I think it could get one.
Yeah, I don't think that this one has the interview with director Lamberto Bava in the trailer and the bio. This one, keeping in mind, is a older release.
Yeah, much
I
older.
I would probably pick up the 88 Films just for the Troy Howarth commentary, but I don't. I'll be honest, like this one looks fine. The DVD looks fine. I don't need it any clearer than that. I think the transfer was good enough. But maybe this is one of those down the road, like, all right, I need to get this on Blu-ray, so I might eventually do it. But So there you go. 8-8 for Ian and I. It is Macabre. It's from 1980. And now we're going to go into the cult classic, Ian. I don't think that's what it's called. I don't, I don't know if that's what they would, I don't know anybody would call this cult classic. Maybe somebody would.
I think it kind of is one. I mean, it is an MST3K episode, so you have that going for it.
There you go. So we're going to 1984, Monster Shark, aka Devilfish. Let's head over to Ian. Ian, give us a plot for this masterpiece.
All right, so this is taken from the Code Red Blu-ray. The ocean depths unleash a bloodthirsty monstrosity in this cult classic.
There it
Just
is.
saying,
Cult
cult
classic.
classic monster favorite from Italy. A marine biologist played by Michael Sopkiw, a dolphin trainer played by Valentine Monnier, a research scientist, and a local sheriff played by Johnny Garco try to hunt down a large sea monster, a shark octopus hybrid that's devouring through swimmers and fishermen off of the South Florida coast. Also starring William Berger and featuring a score by Fabio Frizzi. This aquatic nightmare was directed by Lamberto Bava with writers including Luigi Cozzi and Sergio Martino. And now you can see it bigger and bloodier than ever in a new HD scan, which I will admit the Code Red Blu-ray looks great.
I love it. Nice. I'm sorry I had to chuckle through this whole thing because I'm still getting over the fact that they called it cult classic. But you can get this on Severn. They do have the Feeding Frenzy exclusive slipcase with 3 shark Blu-ray movies, man. Come on, everybody. There are shark lovers out there screaming at me right now. You got the Shark Hunter, Monster Shark, and Night of the Sharks. Come on. Why would you not want that? But Severn does have that for $96 in a cool box set. Yeah. But let's get to it. It's Devilfish, it's Monster Shark. If you look it up, you're probably going to find it under Devilfish more than you're going to find it under Monster Shark. But that's okay. Either way, same movie. Luigi Cozzi, I totally agree. I love that Sergio Martino and Luciano, I love that they were attached to this movie. I just wish it would have been a better movie. I was just like, what in the world are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to this movie to me is just pretty dull. Like I don't think there's just not a whole lot of interesting stuff going on when
No,
the shark isn't around. And the problem is the shark is like it's all just kind of close-ups of some kind of thing that they just had they you can tell that they didn't have much of a budget outside of like the final 5 minutes to make this thing look anything interesting and do anything interesting with it. I mean, I've seen Jaws ripoffs and like Bruno Mattei movies that I like better than this. Like Cruel Jaws is better than this movie.
oh yeah.
I think at least that movie's more interesting and than this one is. And I think it just doesn't, I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to like some of the characters. You have all your archetypes here. You have, the marine biologist and basically everything you get, the scientists and all that kind of stuff, the sheriff, but it just doesn't really do anything interesting with them. I think that that's the problem. And you have some actors I like. I mean, Sopkiw's been in some movies we've done on the show before, and I kind of enjoy him, his presence. When he's dubbed by Larry Dogan, I enjoy him even more, which he is in this. Um, and then Johnny Garco, who played Sartana, is playing the sheriff. You know, um, William Berger, who we've seen on the show before as well. He's playing basically the scientist. Dagmar Lassander is in this movie as the
Yeah.
wife of William Berger, who is kind of a turncoat of sorts, as we find out later on. But it's just I don't know. It just doesn't really do a whole lot with what the premise is. I think that that's the biggest problem. I can't really put it much better than that. Is like I said, the shark doesn't really look that interesting. They only show it so up close that you can't really see it swimming around in the water. There's no sort of shots. There's no sort of like Jaws shots where, for example, you see it coming out of the water from like a medium shot perspective or anything like that. It's just never feels scary because of that. And the characters just aren't that interesting, and that's a fault with most Jaws ripoffs. Is they repeat some of the archetypes with some of the characters, but yet they never seem as interesting as they do in the original Jaws. And I'm not saying this is the only film that does that. Most of them have that problem too.
Yeah, you could go down the line. I mean, list after list of, you could go through Orca. You could go through any of these movies that were ripoffs, man, and totally 100% squeeze this in that same realm. It's just you can't. touch a masterpiece, and people tried to.
And
And
by the way, like I'm going after this film, but yeah, I do love the Killer Crocodile movies. So there are Jaws ripoffs and Italian ones that I do like. It's just this is not one of them.
yeah, the Killer Crocodile, even like the Great Alligator, those movies I'm totally
Yep.
about. They're cheesy as hell, but they at least give you action. They at least give you some kind of continuity of some sort. Whatever. This movie was like a lot of this marine life type language. Like there's a scene
Yeah.
where they're on the boat and they're giving us all this dialogue about marine life and how that this creature could be from 600 million years ago, whatever. This is the oldest creature, whatever. But like you said, it's the fact that we didn't see it, and it wasn't even really necessarily looking like a shark. It looked like an octopus with tentacles, with a shark mouth, with which looked like a it looked like Sigmund and the Sea Monsters from 1970s uh, Croft. If you remember the Sid and Croft stuff, it kind of reminded me of that. It's like these pointed teeth that looked very, very puppet. It looked very fake, and it just never pulls off, man, on screen. And we saw so many times, Ian, and this was getting annoying to me, was like they're watching the sonar and they see this little blimp coming up. And they're like, it's coming right at us. Watch it. And it's like 600 feet, 500 feet, 400 feet, 300 feet. And all of a sudden, oh, wait, it's disappearing. It's going back. And you're like, oh my God, dude, are you freaking kidding me? Just let the thing attack. I don't know, man. There was just so many scenes I was just hitting my head against the wall thinking, come on, dude, get something going here. We did have the scene where the boat kind of starts taking on water. The creature comes through and is grabbing the girl. We got this going on, and then we got this weird group of people that has come out of nowhere that are shoots one of the characters because we know they're working with the
Yeah, Miller.
evil,
Yeah.
yeah, the evil doctor. But this guy just shows up out of nowhere to take over the boat, and this
Yeah, you have a scene that's kind of like veers almost into like exploitation territory in the
yeah,
beginning with Shinzia DePonte, where
yeah,
I believe she's like threatening to expose this company or something
uh-huh,
like that. So I think that's what you're led to believe. So the guy comes in and like grabs her, rips off her clothes or whatever, then ends up killing her by electrocuting her inside of this giant bath.
yeah.
So that was entertaining. Like this movie is not without anything at all. It has some parts to it that are interesting. I mean, there's a fun line of dialogue where Michael Sopu's character is basically he has this sort of, I'd say, pretty young woman with him,
Mm,
and she's like, and he's like, you think I'm doing this because he's talking about his actual girlfriend Stella. He's like, I think I'm doing this because she's got a nice ass or whatever he says. He's like, oh, you're absolutely right. And then she's like, would you mind telling me what's wrong with mine? And then they proceed to kiss and have sex, and it's that part is pretty funny.
yeah.
Like this movie has its moments for sure. I like the part when the other scientist is like, "Of course I lit the damn fuse" or whatever. He says that at one point. Like there are some funny parts, and even
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, I wish more of the movie was like the very end, because you do get the shark, biting someone's head off. You do get some decent moments in like the when they're filling up the water with all the fire and everything. I thought, okay, this
Yeah.
is actually a kind of a decent set piece. Some of the Key West location shooting looks nice. Like it's not without its merits. It's just not a very good movie in total.
Yeah, and that was like here's the climax like you're talking about, and it's like what we got to do. We got to draw it. Let's draw it to us, and we'll burn it. It's the only way you can do it is burn this prehistoric dinosaur of a shark, and that was not bad. You're right, 100%. I kind of dug it. They're all in the water. They're all pouring the or the gasoline and stuff, getting it ready, and then we got the big fire scene, which was actually pretty cool. So I will agree that there are a couple of those moments. The decapitation, the beginning movie where we got the body, the person being lifted up with no legs, um, totally amputee in real life for
Yeah,
sure.
and it looks like they actually got the permission of the Coast Guard to use one of their helicopters or something like that,
Which
which I find interesting.
that's
Yeah.
pretty damn huge. I don't know what they did to pull that out, but no, it does have a couple moments. It's just, man, this thing could have been really cool. This could have been like a Cruel Jaws or something like you mentioned that at least gives you some shark moments. I don't even call this a shark, Ian. This is an octopus to me. It's a rounded with tentacles with this mouth. I don't even consider it a shark, man. I don't know. They say it's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
shark.
I didn't really think about that part of it too much. Maybe you thought about it more than I did, but yeah,
Yeah.
I can certainly understand that.
Yeah. Definitely watch. I'm telling Sigmund and the Sea Monster. If there's a lot of people that know this show, it's from the 70s. It's cheesy ass, in the realm of banana splits and all them shows. I'm telling you, it looks a lot like Sigmund. I promise you. But overall, I mean, Valentine Moner, who plays Dr. Stella, what did you think of her? Did you enjoy her character? Was she dry to you? I felt a little dry off of her.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not her dubbing her own voice. I liked her a little bit more in 2019 after the Fall of New York than I did here. But I don't know. I mean, I thought she was fine. I thought you could have done more with her as a sort of dolphin trainer. I mean, you could have done more with that angle to the movie. I mean, that's how she's introduced. You could have done something with the dolphins. Being involved more in the movie. I mean, there's that scene early on where the dolphins get all scared because the monster seems to send out a presence with its sonar or something like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, her character doesn't really do a whole lot. There's this scene where it's like cross cutting between the shark attacking the boat and then them just making out on a beach, and it's like they have this random scene where they go and do that for no reason
Yeah.
whatsoever.
But that's the same with the girl being murdered at the beginning. I think they had like we got to get some nudity in this movie. Let's do this. Okay. We'll kill this girl in a bathtub. There's nudity. She dies, whatever. The makeout scene made zero sense. It was just like completely random. All this is happening. They're on a boat and she just randomly, this is the weirdest thing. Okay. So we know that this monster shark is in the water. They're on this boat, this little small like John boat with a motor, and she jumps out of the water. She's in the water. She swims up to the shore and just wants to lay down. Just let me randomly lay down like a model, throw my leg up, and then he's in the boat. He comes up, and then we have the makeout scene. It made no sense, Ian. Zero. I don't know what they were going for. Whatever. But yeah, there's just some few of those moments I'm scratching my head thinking, holy crap, I need to watch Mystery Science Theater of this. I have to watch MSK on this one, man, without a doubt. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. We got to. Let's see. Musical score, though. Fabio Frizzi, Ian.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a lot on a synthesizer in
Yeah.
this for sure. But it's a fairly decent score. I enjoyed it.
My favorite part of this movie is the musical score. I'm telling you, Fabio done pretty dang good on this one, man. I think maybe that's where part of the budget went. Let's just get him to do this score. The cinematography was done by Giancarlo Ferrando. And I'm trying to scratch my head and think, what was Luigi Cosi or Kazi and Sergio Martino thinking? What was going through their noggin when they thought we're going to do this movie, Monster Shark, aka Devilfish? And I don't know what in the world they were thinking, dude. I just really don't know. And but we do get to Everglades, and we do get some things like that. Um, Shark, Rosso nel Oceano. There you go. It's a cool looking little poster though, Ian. You got to admit, the shark face creature coming out with the hand, with the sun or the moon, sun, whatever it is in the background. I dig it, Ian.
Yeah.
I dig it. So what do you
Red
got?
Ocean. Red Ocean was another title. Devouring Waves was another title that I'm seeing here.
What would you have thought if it would have been called Red Ocean? Would that be something that you would have been like, oh, I gotta go see Red Ocean?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's not
Yeah.
as attractive of a title.
No, Devilfish,
No.
yeah. Monster Shark, sure. Something, but yeah, definitely not Red Sea or Red Ocean. No. Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. What else you got on this one? What do you got on the dubbing corner?
I had a lot for the dubbing corner on this
Nice.
one actually. So we got oh, whoops, I'm on the wrong page. Hold on a second.
That's up. And then we got to get to our all stars too, because I think we
Yeah,
do have a couple in here for sure.
yep. So Louis Chinelli is dubbing Gianni Garco as a sheriff, or no, sorry, Robert Summer is dubbing Gianni Garco as a sheriff. I got that one wrong, then I fixed it.
Okay.
Edmund Purdom is dubbing Dino Conti as Bob Hogan, who's like the other scientist. Susan Spafford is dubbing Dagmar Lassander as Sonia, and Larry Dolgan is the one dubbing Michael Sopke as the main character.
Nice. Sweet. What else we got on here, Ian? Yeah, our all star. Let's get to our all stars on this one.
Yeah, we did have one for Macabre, so that would have been Stenko Molnar. He is officially an all star because he was also in A Blade in the Dark. So there we go. That's the one for this
Congratulations.
that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, Michael Sopke is
Yeah.
officially a superstar because he has now been in 3 films: Blast Fighter in 2019 After the Fall of New York, along with Devilfish. Um, he will never be an all time great, unfortunately, because he was only in 4 films. So he might end up doing that 4th film at some point. It's a cannibal film that was made in the mid '80s called Massacre in Dinosaur Valley.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Do I have?
Yeah,
I think I got that one.
I
Uh,
think I have it. I have it somewhere.
I totally. Every time you say superstar, I just want to do Saturday Night Live and just go superstar. I just want to do it. Go ahead.
Valentine Monier is an all-star as well because she was also in 2019 After the Fall of New York with Michael Sopke. Something of note with her is that she claims that Roman Polanski sexually assaulted her at one point, which I would take her word for
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
because Roman Polanski is a piece of garbage. He's a great director, but as a human
yeah,
being, not so much.
yeah.
Um, Johnny Garco, this makes him an all-time great because we've seen
Ooh,
him in The Psychic, The Boss, Body Puzzle, and Cold Eyes of Fear. And there will be more from him at some point if we ever cover the Sartana series on the show, which we'll probably end up doing at some point.
I
Um,
love it.
William Berger, I know we've seen him in something. So we never actually covered Keoma on the show, but that might end up being something we do eventually. We saw him in My Dear Killer,
Yep.
and I believe he was also in Dial Help.
Yeah.
I think, yep, Dial Help. So that makes him a superstar for being in those 3.
And I'm sure we're going to do eventually we'll do $5 for an August moon. So
Yep,
come in. Yeah.
yep. Chinzia De Ponte, who is the victim who gets attacked at the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, we saw her in Private Crimes, so this makes her an all star.
Nice.
There's one very significant film that we haven't done with her yet, where she gets attacked in a ferry on New York City. I'm sure everybody knows what that movie is.
Oh,
Uh, yeah. She's also in another Fulci movie that we might end up doing on the show at some point. Then we go to Dagmar Lassander. So I got to count here a little bit. Iguana with the Tongue of Fire, Forbidden Photos of a Lady About Suspicion. And I believe those are the only 3 so far. So that makes her a superstar. We're going to end up doing more films with her eventually.
yeah.
So obviously, we haven't done The House by the Cemetery, we haven't done The Laughing Woman or The Black Cat or Hatchet for the Honeymoon. So she's
Nice.
in all of those.
Hell yeah. I love it. Oh man. So what else you got on this before we pass around our ratings?
Not much of no. I mean, I think you've talked about it too, where I think we just wish it was better. I wish that they had a more significant budget for it because I think you could have. To me, it's not really the design that bothers me. It's just what they did with execution in terms of that. Like you think about how, in Killer Crocodile, Gianetto De Rossi gives us a giant crocodile in that movie and does something with it.
Yeah.
Right. And even if it's not the best looking thing in the world, he still made something big and does something with it.
Agree.
Antonio Margheriti in Alien for the Abyss, which is kind of equally as dull as this movie for certain parts of it, but at the end of the movie, he gives us a giant alien, and it's like
Yeah.
he actually executes a concept and goes with it. Whereas this movie, you can tell they just did not have the resources to do that.
Agree. And it's not that Lamberto Bava, we're thinking what was this,
No,
his
I don't think it's his fault.
third, fourth film now, so we can't fault Lamberto Bava, and he done fine with what he had. I think this is more of a budgetary script limitation on water. It is, I'm sure, extremely hard as Steven Spielberg to film on ocean and film in water, I'm sure. So give him A for effort in that. But overall it's just kind of a yeah. Am I hating that I watched it? Not really. Not really. I've
No,
seen a lot worse, but would I go back and rewatch this one? Probably not, unless we're doing it for an episode. But what you got on your rating for Monster Shark, aka Devilfish?
Well, this is going to mark a first because I think this is the first time I've ever actually given something a negative rating on the show. I don't think I've ever given anything less than a five.
Oh, you're going to do it
So
too.
I'm giving it a four.
Ooh, I am actually coming in with a three, Ian. This one just really, and it hurts me to say that from Lamberto Bava, but I cannot for the life of me, really. And 3 point is really going for musical score and that one climactic in and Lamberto Bava himself, dude. I just really can't go above it, man. So that's weird that you said. I was thinking that maybe you come in at like a 5 or 6, that you went below 5. That's so cool. So yeah, this is a dud. Let's be honest. If you bought that box set, hey, all the merrier for you. And who knows, I may eventually buy that box set just because it's sharks, and I don't dislike
I
sharks.
bought the Code Red Blu-ray long ago, and that's what I'm going to stick with.
All right, so these are available through Severn Films. Like I said, if you want to buy it, it is the Feeding Frenzy box set, or you can buy them individually on Severn Films. Highly recommend that. Once again, we are not paid by Severn Films by any means. Wish we was. Mm. I wish we was paid by anybody.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Hell yeah, somebody. But that said, we got a voicemail to get to, Ian, and we got to get to Luke because he's going to be talking about one of these movies, and I'm curious which one this is going to be. So let's go to this voicemail and find out exactly what is being said here. Let me see if I can pull this up properly. Here we go. All right, here we go, Ian.
Hey guys, Luke Irza calling with a review of Macabre. I thought it was a good movie. It held my interest. Right out of the gate, I thought the girl in it, the little girl, Lucy, wow, I thought she was a little off, let's say demented or something, and proved to be true within minutes of the movie. I didn't see her. I didn't see her dying. I thought she would live and kind of get away with some things. And I thought she would drive her mother, crazy or more crazy than the mom already was. I didn't see her, driving to the point where, another bathtub incident was going to happen. Robert, the blind guy, I thought he was a little odd, but I mean, he's blind. So, I mean, that kind of, I don't want to say blind people are odd. I'm just saying that lent itself to him being a little bit awkward in some situations and things. And so it almost appeared like he could have some nefarious kind of intent, which in fact, it appeared that he didn't. And it's unfortunate, in my opinion, that he ended up dying. What else about that? Well, of course, at the end, we have to talk a little bit about how deranged the mom was with the frozen head, but we also have to talk the frozen head at the end. Did not see that coming. A little bit unrealistic, but good for a horror movie. So anyway, guys, really enjoyed the movie, and keep up the wonderful podcasting work.
Love that, Luke, man. Appreciate you calling in, and it always good to hear from Luke, man, for sure. And
Yeah,
I'm kind of dug it. Hey,
yeah, I'm glad he liked it too because I had warned him kind of ahead of time that it might be a little bit of a weird movie outside of what he normally does,
yeah,
normally watches for the show.
yeah.
One thing he kind of reminded me of, and it's something I didn't address when we talked about it, is would it because he talked about at the beginning, would a movie be better? Like, would it have had a more mystery if you didn't know Lucy was the one who killed her brother?
Oh,
Like
100%.
somehow would it
100%.
have been? Yeah,
That is one of the things that I think it really missed the boat on was they totally should have kept that secret, and I think
yeah.
it would have played better. Hundred
Because
percent.
at the end of the movie, it's almost designed to be a reveal when she reveals it to her mother, and it's like, well, it's not a reveal to us. We saw it happen,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it may have been better served. I mean, again, it could have maybe been a little obvious if you just had some hands drowning him or something like that. But at the same time, at least you could have kept it like somewhat a plausible deniability with it. I think it would have been better served.
Oh, 100%, dude. Yeah. I don't understand the philosophy of showing Lucy doing that because I don't know. It doesn't really serve a purpose necessarily other than the fact to get her
No,
mom.
because
Yeah.
like her, like if she had just called and said, "Oh my gosh, she's he died drowning," you don't see anything happen, she would have still rushed home the same way, and everything else would have played out the same way it did. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree on it. So, Lamberto Bava, man, we're going to be getting into a lot more Lamberto Bava for sure, man. There's some, once again, I hope to get the high tension set. I hope to, wait, high tension is that Lamberto Bava or is that, Lindsay? Actually, I'm starting to
I think it's Bava. I don't think it's not Lindsay. I know that.
okay. High tension box set. We'll look it up. High tension box set. And here's the thing too. When you get into some of these box sets, and that is through Severn, by the way.
Yeah, it is Lamberto Bava.
Yep. So Lamberto Bava 4 box set. On sale as I'm speaking right now, it's going to be 104.95 on retail, but they got it saved 30%. So as I'm recording, Ian and I, it is at $73, which I'm gonna be honest is a pretty damn good price when you're talking four films. The Prince of Terror, you got The Man Who Wouldn't Die, School of Fear, and Eyewitness. These are these made for TV, Italian made for TV type films that were so graphic that they couldn't even really show it on TV, which is actually pretty cool. So that these are getting the light of day, man. I think it's actually pretty worth it. Ian, they've got so many features on here, and Troy Howard popping up on most of them, man. I love that him and Nathaniel Thompson. So I'll back it, man. I definitely got to get my hands on it, Ian. But with that said, our next episode, Ian, what are we going to be covering, buddy?
So I got one of the movies. So
And I got the other.
yeah. So the whip and the body. That's going to be one of them, and then you got the other one, which is Kill
Oh,
Baby
baby,
Kill. We're
kill.
doing another Mario Bava double feature.
Hell yeah. And I mean, anytime you could do Mario Bava, what in the world? So we just talked about his son, and now we're going to look at the father on the next episode. And we got another cool episode coming up in the future, too, that Ian's got coming in the mail. Cannot wait to get into. And we'll keep that kind of in the us know and you'll know soon type scenario. So stay tuned for that, man. But this has been a fun one, man. I enjoyed talking these two films from Liberto. One a good one not so good, but there's still Lamberto Bava, and you got to own them, right? Ian, I've got to pick it up. I've got to have everything. I'm a completist, like, dude. I'm trying.
You can say it. You can like I can say it for sure because I own Monster Shark on Blu-ray. That's the badge of honor right there for being a completist.
It is, and here's the thing. I'm trying to do a little bit better in Italian cinema where, sometimes I'm trying to buy it just for the podcast purpose. Ian, like if you want to cover a certain movie, I'll be like, okay, if I got enough money, I'll go ahead and purchase so I can have it in hand and watch it, whatever. So, but I do want to get like, there's a few directors. Rosario Diodato is one that I want to try to get, and he's got a crap ton of movies, some good, some bad, some hard to find. But Rosario Diodato is definitely one that I want to, collect. And Joe D'Amato is absolutely another one. Pupi Avati, I've actually got a lot of his, The House with a Laughing Window and Zetter and a few of those. So that was, those. But there's certain directors that I really want to focus on. So in the future purposes, Ian, when I'm starting to buy Italian cinema, I think I'm going to try to stick to a little bit more of a concept of let me concentrate on Lamberto Bava. Let me concentrate on Mario Bava. Let me concentrate on Sergio Martino.
Yeah.
Scenario and go from there. But who knows, man?
Yeah, for me, another guy I have a lot of films of his is Antonio Margheriti. I have a lot of his films too.
I do not have many of his at all, and I should.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of spaghetti western style too, correct? Or not spaghetti, but Eurocrime, correct?
No, well, he only did like one Eurocrime and like a couple spaghetti westerns. He was kind of all over the map. He's more known for his macaroni combat films that he did in the 80s, gothic horror films from the early 60s, some of them with Barbara Steele,
Mhm.
and then a lot of macaroni combat movies in the 80s, one of which you do own because you do have The Last Hunter.
I do. I do
Yeah.
have that. I do want to mention too, we've had and before we close this thing out, I did want to get to this one, Ian. We've had a few comments popping up on our YouTube channel, which is awesome. I really,
Nice.
really love that. I love that people are watching. I love that people are digging the show. I would love to see a lot more viewers. So if you're listening to this on audio only, man, give us a shot over there at the YouTube channel, man. I'd love for you to tune in there. But we've had a few of these comments coming in, and I wanted to mention in particular, I just want to say his name out because he's very intelligent with what he's saying, Ian. And I've been trying to keep up with his comments and stuff. And as I'm going through here, I'm trying to find freaking, I should have had this already pulled up. Uh, anyways, so let me get this out. There's not actually, so people watching this say, Greg, you suck. And I do, Ian, I do suck. But anyways, let me get this daggone. Oh, Ian, this is going to kick my arse until I can figure this out. Let me get my YouTube channel up. It's taking forever. Sorry, guys. All right, so here we go. So we got episode 442, two comments, and I just wanted to read this guy's name out as I'm looking it up. Damn, Ian, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. It shouldn't be this goddamn hard to read a comment. Oh my God. Here we go. All right. So the comment is from this one was actually from Subjective Perspective Collective. So we know him. That is oh shit. The podcast he was just on recently.
Darren and Dirk.
Darren. Thank you,
Yeah.
Darren and Derek. Yes. They had talked about the last episode we did, and he said, great review of two films from my favorite Italian director, the true maestro. Keep them coming. That was not the exact schnita. My wife's gonna come over here and give me all kinds of hell because it's taking way longer than I need to. Oh, here we go. I got this one, Ian. I got it. I got it. I got it. Okay, so here we go. So the comment the comment I was trying to come up with, Ian, is right here. I swear to God, this is it. This is no, it's not it. I'm sorry, Ian. This has come out to be a complete disaster, guys. I was trying to get this guy's name out, Ian, and I cannot get it out. I'm so sorry. He's screaming at me right now saying, why don't you just say my name? Because I can't find it, Ian. I can't find it. He's been commenting, though. Let's see. Why is my YouTube channel so screwy? Can you explain that to me? I swear to God, dude, like I'm trying to scroll down on my YouTube channel as we're doing this on YouTube right now, and people are sitting here watching me saying, Greg, you are really taking way too freaking long for this. This is how you know we're doing this live without any kind of editing, any kind of like cool stuff. Is that the one, love? Let me see. Yes. Yes, it is Dude McMann. Dude McMahon 6936 has been commenting, watching all our videos. Dude, I am so sorry that I screwed your name and it's took me like 30 minutes of fumbling to try to find your comment. But he has gone through, Ian, and when you get time, look through there, dude. He has really come up with some really cool concepts and anecdotes and different things, man. So really appreciate you commenting and watching these videos. So I've said that, and I've wasted 5-10 minutes of you guys and gals' time being that, but I just wanted to get Dude McMahon out there. So that's it. Ian, what you got for closing on this one?
So you can find me on you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Ursanomics. You can type in my name on Letterboxd and on and on Facebook if you want to add me on either one of those platforms.
Absolutely. Head over to landofthecreeps.blogspot.com and click the show notes. You will find Ian's information right there as plain as day. You click on all the links. I swear to God, after that, I need to drink me some J&B. I need to take this whole bottle and just guzzle it. And yeah, for wasting all your time, people out there watching this YouTube video saying, Greg, you suck. And I cannot deny that. So that, Ian, love you, dude. Appreciate you. And cannot wait to be on the next episode. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all them spots. Let's look up GregaMortis and you'll find us. And subscribe to this channel, man. Please subscribe. And every other Friday, we'll be doing these videos. And hopefully I won't fumble through 10 minutes of me trying to go through my stupid YouTube channel to try to find a comment that is there, but I can't find it because my YouTube on my computer sucks. But not the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel's great. Check it out. It's just my YouTube on my computer sucks. So we're getting out of here. I'm stopping. Ian's like, leave me alone. I'm ready to go eat. I'm hungry. Right, Ian? You want to go drink some J&B, I'm sure. Smoke you an answer cigarette or something. I'm sure that's what you're fixing to do. So don't forget, Mario Bava, next episode, Kill Baby Kill. And we're going to get into some other goodness, the whipping the body. So with that said, we're going to sign out. What do we like to say, Ian, according to Kyle Bishop?
Get your jolly on.
And we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.